A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. At the very outset, I am sorry for the delay. I got held up in the traffic, and because of that, today, instead of starting at 9, I'm starting at, I think it is already 9:18. Extremely sorry about that delay. Now, to begin with, the very first snippet political battles. A very simple word, political battles. Supreme Court cautions Enforcement Directorate against being used. There's one word here, being used. They are using him. Present continuous active voice. He is being used by them. Present continuous passive voice. Here, in a way, it goes with passive voice. And who is being used by whom? Supreme Court caution, a word of caution, a standard expression. Enforcement Directorate against being used. In a way, it is telling the Enforcement Directorate, you're being used by the center and better you be careful. Reading between the lines, that's what you have to understand. And as such, as a casual reader, there's nothing to learn. But once you look at it, look at the word used to, there's something to learn from the exam point of view. The very first one, used to, and there's another helping verb, would. Both are used to express past habitual actions. What are they used for? Past habitual actions. Usually, what happens, whose name you're asking? My name. And if you take past habitual actions, in our country, a lot of people depend on used to. I used to swim every Sunday when I was a student. This talks about past habitual action. But native speakers, they use would. I would swim every Sunday when I was a student. Both mean the same. Absolutely nothing wrong with used to. But used to is very popular in our country, and Western countries, they use would. Both you have to know, very important. And based on this word, you have to learn that. Going to the second snippet, training accident. Bangladesh Air Force jet crashes into school, kills 20. Another plane crash, but this time where? In Bangladesh. And it is not a civilian flight, it goes with training. It goes with the defense people. And that particular training plane has crashed and it killed about 20 people. Bangladesh Air Force, it belongs to Air Force, jet, defense related, I said, crashes into school. Last time, if you remember, Ahmedabad plane crash crashed into a medical students' hostel, and this time a school. And how many people got killed? 20 of them. A casual learner will look at this snippet and move on. But a smart learner will recollect all the related words plane crash, and from the runway, when the plane becomes airborne, take off. And when it comes to plane crash, you see the parts of the plane everywhere. They are known as a wreckage. Usually, the word wreckage goes with ship wreckage, a wreck. And small parts scattered everywhere, we use the word debris. S is silent. What is the spelling? Ah, very good. Who is this? Harshi. But remember, the letter S is silent. Debris, not debris. Debris. All these you have to recollect. Going to the next snippet, 2006 train blasts. Bombay High Court acquits all 12 convicted persons. An important snippet because based on this you can recollect a particular word map. I usually tell students when you learn a lot of words, try to learn with the help of word maps. If you ask me, sir, what are these word maps? Take a theme, religion, or law, legal dimension. Try to write all the related words. That is known as a word map. When you see this snippet, you have to recollect all the words that go with a particular legal dimension, filing a case. Imagine I file a case, the word for me, plaintiff, and the other person who depends, dependent. And the whole process is called trial. Each time we go to court, it is called hearing. First hearing, second hearing, third hearing. And we use words like witness, eyewitness, alibi. Alibi is an important word. What does it mean? False evidence. And also, the judge thinks the person has not committed crime, then the person is acquitted, innocent. The judge thinks the person has committed crime, convicted, means punished, guilty. But in this context, this and also vindicate, very good. Who is this? Dunce. And judgment, verdict, absolve, exonerate. All the words you have to recollect as a smart learner. Coming to convict, here, convicted, that is a verb. Convict can be a noun, can be a verb. As a verb, we say convict. He has been convicted. But as a noun, convict. He is a convict. Pronunciation changes, though the spelling is the same. That is something important you have to know. Coming to the next snippet, data point. Boys continue to outnumber girls in private schools. Enrollments have grown, but gender gap persists. There are some important words. First one is outnumber. The other one is have grown, grammar point of view, present perfect, and persist, another word. Let us look at outnumber. The number goes up and there's a difference in the numbers, then we say outnumber. What does the context talk about? When it comes to enrollment in private schools, the number of boys enrolling has gone up compared to the number of girls enrolling in private schools. That is one thing. And it clearly shows, imagine 100 boys enroll, only 60 girls enroll. It shows something we always focus on, gender disparity, gender gap. It shows have grown. Enrollments have grown, total, present perfect tense. But gender gap, there's a gap, gender gap, boys and girls, persists. Persist means to exist for a long time, to last for a long time. Ah, yes, you should recollect words like criterion, criteria, memorandum, memoranda, all these. And datum, data, data point. An important new snippet, you can learn a lot based on this. Let us go to the next one. Series decider. It looks like not about the test series. This is one day international and not men's cricket, women's cricket. India meets England in the third women's ODI. Series decider. That means you should understand it is three ODIs, best of three. Already they must have won one India, one England. Now the third one is a deciding one. Based on that series decider, third ODI, not men's cricket, women's cricket. That's all from the snippets. Let us go to the main headline. We have two headlines here. One goes with the vice president. Dhankar submits his resignation to president. Simple words, submit, resignation, simple word, to whom? To president. And when you come across a news item like this, very good. Who is this Vishnu? I appreciate that. All the words related to law, a legal case. When you see this, no doubt you have to first focus on English proficiency. But today, when you read the newspaper, why do we suggest read the Hindu paper? Two reasons. One reason, apparently, you improve your English proficiency. Second, you improve your current affairs. You are in touch with the latest developments. Then, in a way, you are spending time on current affairs as well. This talks about Dhankar submits his resignation to president. And this is a news item you have to read because next one may not be this one, but based on this, they are going to appoint another person. Then in the exam, you may get who is the new vice president. That way, it has a potential. Coming to the next snippet, VS communist icon and ex-Kerala CM passes away. There are two words here. One, you are all familiar. Passes away, phrasal verb. Icon. Icon means someone who is considered a role model. Role model, icon, idol, they all mean the same. But idol has another meaning. At the time of Vinayak Chaturthi, we buy Lord Ganesha's idol. The small thing is called idol. One meaning goes with religion. Here, idol, role model, icon, they all mean the same. And passes away, you all know, died sounds harsh. Passes away sounds better. That is known as euphemism. That word also you have to recollect. Coming to the snippets this side, Mamata rallies against center's linguistic terror. An important word. I always tell students while preparing for competitive exams, never try to be a casual reader, never try to be a casual learner. That will not take you anywhere. That will be a dead end. Cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac means what? A dead end. You have to be all the time on your toes and you have to be very sharp. You have to be a sharp learner. And what is being sharp over here? When you see the word linguistic, what does the news item say? Mamata rallies against centre's linguistic terror. Mamata rallies against means she must have taken a procession, she must have protested based on that rallies against whom? The center. Regarding what? Linguistic terror. Political terror, linguistic terror. Terror is a noun, here linguistic adjective. But generally speaking, this word is something very important and we use it in the plural form. Why should you become alert when you see the word linguistic? In English, if you take nouns, we have rules. One of the rules that goes with nouns, some nouns are always in the plural form, but always take a singular verb. And what are the important examples? News, physics, mathematics, linguistics, economics, statistics, measles, mumps, rickets. Last year, diseases. And news is the first one, after that, subjects. And here, in many competitive exams, they've given linguistics are not very popular in our country. And many students think the sentence is right because linguistics, plural form, are not very popular, plural verb. But the sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? Plural form takes a singular verb. Then what is the correct sentence? Linguistics is not very popular in our country. This has been given many a time. And you have to focus on words like economics and statistics. No doubt they are subjects. When we use those two words as subjects, we have to use a singular verb. But they have other meanings. When we convey other meanings, they take a plural verb. For example, economics is a tough subject. Here I have referred to the word economics as a subject, so singular verb. Economics is a tough subject. But if I say the economics of the project is not viable, that is wrong. The economics of the project are not viable. Here, economics means the financial aspects. Financial aspects, plural. Then are not viable. Are is a right verb. This is also very important, you got to know. One simple word, so much to learn. Policeman who was tortured to get rupees 50 lakh. Policeman who was tortured. Who was tortured, that is past tense passive voice, to get 50 lakh. What do you understand from that? Someone must have got, some policeman got tortured. He was tortured. They tortured him, active voice past tense. He was tortured by them, past tense passive voice. And because of the torture, he is likely to get, what is the lump sum amount he's going to get? Huge sum, 50 lakh. That is astonishing, just because of torture. But we don't know what sort of torture. Parliament starts process for judge impeachment. There's one important word here, impeach. Impeachment usually goes with the president of a country, top person of a particular organization. Impeach means to remove someone officially following a particular process. Impeachment of the president. This is an important word you have to know. And this context talks about, sometime back we came across a news item. A particular judge in Delhi, in his house, bundles of cash found, and based on that, regarding that impeachment. Coming to the pic on the front page, what is a pic? What does it talk about? Sky is calling. Sky is calling. But generally, when we use the word sky and when we talk to youngsters, you all have a lot of potential. What do we say? Sky is the limit. Because of your potential, sky is the limit. Means you can go to the top position. It all depends on your effort, hard work, and direction and guidance also. But here it talks about sky is calling. Why? Ready to roar. Roar usually goes with what? Lion. A lion roars. But here, ready to roar means ready to fly. Based on that, sky is calling. It's about which fighter jets, F-35 fighter, British F-35 fighter jet, ready to take off. And based on that, ready to roar. In English, many a time we cannot take the literal meaning of a particular word. We have to understand the context. And imagine you don't look at the context. You may wonder the word roar goes with lions, lion roars, but it also goes with other context. In this context, roar you cannot take literally. It means they are ready to fly. India to host Chess World Cup venue to be decided. They are to decide, it is to be decided. India to host Chess World Cup. Host has many meanings. You guys got it. Casually host means whenever you give a party, you are the host. I come to the party, I am the guest. You all know these two meanings. But host has another connotation. When it comes to a particular program on TV, and usually on TV we say host, hostess. We also use the word anchor. But if it is off, not online, not on TV, imagine outside a particular fashion show. Someone takes a mic and keeps talking. That person is called compere. Have you heard of this any time? Compere. And one more, MC, both capital letters. Whenever there's a fashion show, we try to, you see someone holding the mic and talking about models, about the fashion show. We say compare. And if you go to the defense service, air hostess also you can recollect. If you go to defense services, and they also organize events, and there you see a person holding the mic and talking. For that person, we say MC. What do the letters stand for? Master of Ceremonies. Have you heard of this any time? Master of Ceremonies, an important expression. Going to the next news item, what do we have here? I think I've read out this one. We have two headlines. Exclusion from rules under SIR won't affect citizenship, EC tells Supreme Court. I think it is regarding elections in Bihar and including inclusion, exclusion of prospective voters based on certain criteria. And here there's one important word. What is that one? Affect. Affect, effect. Now, never heard of that MC. Okay, Wagdevi. I appreciate your response. Big Boss Nag, compare. Who is this rare talent? Coming to the word, what is the word I have underlined? Affect. As a smart learner, you have to recollect affect, effect. Affect is a regular verb. Affect, affected, affected. Effect can be a verb, can be a noun. Usually we use it as a noun, but in a formal situation, written English, it can be used as a verb and very important as a verb. Otherwise, nothing to learn. Coming to this one, political news. People of Tamil Nadu favor only single party rule, says EPS. EPS, former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, he made a statement. What is that statement? He says, people of Tamil Nadu, they want a single party rule, it seems. They will not accept anything else. People of Tamil Nadu favor only single party rule, says EPS. There's one important word you should focus on. Tell me what is that? Only. Only is important. Why is it important? People make a mistake. We have to use the word only before whatever it describes. And people tend to say, she has solved two problems only. Is that right or wrong? How many problems has she solved? Two. We have to use the word only before two. So, what is the correct sentence? She has solved only two problems. Only two problems. That is important. You have to recollect. That's all from the front page of the Hindu paper. Let us go to today's editorial. But I'm afraid I may not be able to read the entire editorial because it's already 9:36, and I will tell the gist of the editorial, then we'll go to the question. But first we'll see the vocab part. All these are the benefits if you watch the video. And today's editorial is about the plane crash investigation. When you know it is about a plane crash, you have to ask yourself a few pertinent questions. Pertinent means relevant questions. What happened? When it happened? Where it happened? Why it happened? This is all about. I'm not the right person to answer that. Who is this Raj Kumar Mulagiri? SBI PO hall ticket is not yet released. Is any chance for postponement? No, no. First of all, I don't answer these questions. because we are talking about the Hindu, and we don't talk about something that doesn't go with what is here. Always remember. And one more dunce also difference between repatriation and deportation, that we haven't come across that. If I keep answering these questions, I will not get time to spend on the editorial. The purpose will be defeated. You ask anything based on what you see there, I will be happy to answer. And regarding postponement, I am not the right person. I have no idea whatsoever. Coming to the vocab, plane crash, the very first one, unvarnished. I'm sure many of you know. I'm sure many of you know varnish. W- Varnish, yes, fishbone approach. Who is this? Tukaram. Fishbone approach, 5 W's and 1 H. When, what, where, why, who, and how. And varnish goes with furniture. Imagine there's a carpenter, he has created something, a new furniture. He tries to make it shine. How does he or she does it? Usually he, in our country, we don't come across female carpenters. He uses varnish. When he applies varnish, what happens? It shines. In this context, it means adding something. Reality is something, you add something to that, you try to sugarcoat that one. Unvarnished means plain. Part of speech adjective, plain and straightforward, without any attempt to disguise or embellish. Plain and straightforward, without any attempt to disguise, hide the true identity. Embellish means without any decorations. And word forms, unvarnished, unvarnished, rare as a verb. Word combinations, unvarnished truth, unvarnished facts, unvarnished account. Synonyms, plain, blunt, frank, candid, unembellished, means not decorated. I always tell students, I always tell students to be frank, British expression, we also follow British English, but Americans don't use to be frank. They use to be candid. To be candid means the same, to be frank. And in the US, a particular type of photography is very popular. What is it? Candid photography. Have you heard of this any time? I'm sorry. Candid photography. What is candid photography? As you're taken. They shoot you. But usually, before a photo session, what do we try to do? We set the hair, we wash the face. If possible, we apply powder and we try to pose. And quite opposite to that, candid photography. As you are shot. Synonyms, important words. Antonyms, embellished, sugar coated, disguised, ornate. When you see the word, ornate also goes with decoration. Disguise, already one student has written that. Blessing in disguise. Blessing in disguise means what? Initially, something happens and that is negative. But over a period of time, it turns out to be positive. Then we say that negative incident was a blessing in disguise. You guys got it. Usually, that's what people do. Let us go to the second one, tepid. Tepid is an important word. Tepid means not part of speech adjective, unenthusiastic or lacking in force or energy. Lukewarm. Lukewarm takes a word response. Lukewarm response means not overwhelming. Imagine I ask students some questions, they respond with a lot of enthusiasm. Then I say overwhelming response. But they don't respond, no enthusiasm, hardly one or two students respond. Then I say lukewarm response. This combination you have to know. Word forms tepidly, adverb, tepidity, noun. Word combinations, tepid response, tepid attempt, tepid support. Means you do casually, not wholeheartedly, but half heartedly. Synonyms, lukewarm, indifferent, half hearted, dull. Antonyms, enthusiastic, forceful, fervent, an important word, full of energy, and intense. Staunch has two meanings, two or three meanings. One meaning, staunch supporter. In the field of politics, we say staunch supporter means what? Strong supporter. And staunch means strong, but here different meaning altogether. Part of speech verb. And when we say staunch supporter, it is used as an adjective. Here, verb. To stop or restrict. To stop or restrict what? Flow of something, typically blood or emotion. Blood is gushing out. Emotions are pouring out. Then you try to stop. Then we should use the word staunch. Word forms staunch, stauncher, staunchly, staunchness. But this meaning generally we don't use. I have come across at 4 p.m. in school, okay? Rarely we come across this meaning. Word combinations, staunch the flow means stop the flow, restrict the flow. Staunch supporter as adjective. See here. I don't know why that meaning hasn't been mentioned, but do remember strong supporter. Synonyms stop, suppress, halt, control. Antonyms release, unleash, trigger. Unleash your potential. Sparse. Sparse means a little, not in abundance. Adjective, part of speech adjective, thinly dispersed or scattered, insufficient. Not sufficient, sparse, scanty, scarcity, dearth, all the words you have to know. Word forms sparsely, sparseness, sparsity. Word combination sparse detailing, sparse population, sparse information. Not too much. Scanty, an important word. Meager, an important word. Limited, inadequate. Antonyms abundant, detailed, comprehensive, dense. Simple words. Mull. How do you pronounce this? Mull. Mull, part of speech verb. To think deeply about, to consider carefully. You are thinking about something, then what are the words you should recollect? Introspect, contemplate, ponder, pensive mood, brood over, dwell on. All these you should know. Word forms mull, mulling, mulled. Word combinations mull over, mull the idea, mull the proposal. Synonyms contemplate. Our students know. Contemplate, ponder, deliberate, consider. Ponder, deliberate. But deliberate has two meanings. One meaning, he has done it deliberately, means what? Openly and intentionally. They have gone in for deliberations, means deep discussions. Two different meanings altogether. Antonyms ignore, dismiss, reject. What time is it? It's already 9:45. I will tell about the gist of the editorial because it takes a lot of time. Today's editorial is all about investigation related to the plane crash in Ahmedabad. How does it start? Unvarnished facts. We want unvarnished facts, means we want facts as they are, without any cover up, without any disguise. And regarding what? On the Ahmedabad air crash, AAIB investigation. It is about investigation into the crash. Regarding that, the facts have to be disclosed to the public as they are, without any sugarcoating, without any disguise. But what is the main idea? The full and raw cockpit voice recorder transcript must be released. They must release something, active voice. It must be released by them, passive voice, and must has two functions. One function, it is used to express an obligation imposed by the writer or the speaker. And second, it is used to convey the idea that something is compulsory. And what must be released? The full and raw cockpit voice recorder, transcript. There are two words you have to focus on. One, translation, another, transcription. Translate goes more with when someone speaks in a particular language and you try to interpret that. That's a different context altogether. Here, transcription means there's a particular field called medical transcription. What does it mean? You listen to someone's voice and you make a note, you try to write the same, whatever the person says, you write down, you create that text. That is known as transcript. That process is called transcription. And here we have one word, raw cockpit voice recorder. And the other day someone asked, "Sir, what is a cockpit?" When you enter the plane, if you turn right, you go to the economy class. You turn left, you go to the business class. Beyond the business class, starting of the plane, you have a cabin. No one is allowed except the pilot and the co pilot. There you have all the gadgets, everything to fly the plane. That cabin where pilot and co pilot occupies is known as cockpit. It is about the cockpit voice recorder. And raw means without touching, without polishing. like YouTube titles. Okay. And when you see the first line, the second line, you should be smart enough to guess the broad framework. What could be the framework of this one? This talks about investigation. This talks about the actual facts to be released as they are without any sugar coating, without any disguise. Then a writer may start with what happened, the plane crash, when it happened, the date, where it happened, Ahmedabad, why it happened. Why it happened is a pertinent question here, all about why it happened. And based on that, the source to find out how it happened or why it happened, a particular conversation. And this conversation also, imagine in a conversation there are 10 sentences, but they take two sentences and they release those two, not remaining eight, then that results in some sort of speculation. Because out of 10, only two sentences have been taken out, standalone sentences, and then other sentences we don't know what exactly, entire conversation. That means vague, not clear. That results in speculation. Based on that, the editorial says the investigation bureau should release the entire conversation, should make the transcript public, entire conversation, not simply two sentences. And what are these two sentences? If you take the cockpit, you have two switches. One is on, the other one side on, the other side off. What are these? These two switches deal with supply of fuel to the engines. When you on the switch, the fuel goes to the engines. When you off the switch, the fuel is cut off. What happened in this case, apparently, obviously, when the flight took off, the switches, on switch changed to off switch, off mode. Means what? The fuel that was to go to the engine did not go. And once fuel is not there, obviously, the plane starts descending and it collapses. It results in a plane crash. This is all about two switches and one conversation, two sentences. One pilot says, why did you cut off the supply to engines? Why did you cut off the fuel supply to engines? The other person says, no, I did not do it. But what happened initially when the flight took off, the the switch that supplies the fuel to engine turned off, means the fuel was cut off. Later it was on, but by the time it was too late. Once the flight does not receive the fuel, it starts descending. After that, you on also, it doesn't serve any purpose. This is in a nutshell, but I'll tell some important words like spotlight, sparse, stand alone, snatch. Stand alone means being independent. Snatch, one of the meanings to take or grasp quickly. And blanket, signing off. Blanket has two or three meanings. One meaning blanket, bed sheet, but here blanket means comprehensive, exhaustive, not touching everything, blanket, signing off. Not touching everything, and we can use in the negative form. Then credible information, credible evidence. Credible means what? Believable. What is opposite? Incredible. We have got many a time. And mulling means thinking deeply. Psychometric tests. I think some exams you have psychometric tests. Psychometric tests, they test the mental ability and the behavioral traits of a particular person, whether fit or not fit for a particular job. Meticulous, I always use. When you read the questions, you have to read meticulously. Try to answer these questions. I gave the context, I have created the contextual awareness by not showing, but by telling. See if you can answer. What is the central theme? Technical failure? No. The media's role? No. The need for transparency and accountability in air crash investigations. As I said, it is about incredible. It has a positive connotation, it has a negative connotation. Sarcastic also, you can say incredible. Sincerely also, you can say. Answer is C. Which of the following best describes the tone of the editorial? It is about a plane crash. It is about investigation, not doing properly, not revealing or disclosing entire information. So it has to be critical. Because so about 300 people lost lives, it has to show some concern. Based on that, C, critical and concerned. According to the editorial, what has contributed to the ongoing speculation about the crash? Why should we speculate? Speculate means guess. What has resulted in this speculation? Aircraft's age and technical history? No. Non cooperation of the airline staff? No. Media leaks and AAIB's vague report. Had the report been, meaning that's what I'm doing, who is this Venki? If I explain everything, then it takes 2 hours. You have to understand, once you listen to the editorial analysis, you have to understand which one is right, which one is wrong, based on contextual awareness. Again, we cannot go deep into that. Media leaks and the AAIB's vague report means not clear, based on that speculation. What is implied by the line? The AAIB has to turn the spotlight on itself. Usually we turn only for a second question. What is the second question? Let me see. Which of the following best describes the tone of the editorial? These we have been getting. Indifferent means no reaction when something happens. Indifferent you cannot consider because a writer, the paper has been sensible, they have written an editorial about the investigation. Indifferent means not bothered. Someone is suffering, you are not bothered. Indifferent. Then no point, they don't have to write. And objective means based on facts, and technical. It is not about the aircraft, it is not about the engines, it is not about the company behind. Based on that, you cannot consider this one. Optimistic, we are talking about a plane crash. How can you use a positive word like optimistic? Relevance is not there, irrelevant. And it is critical, criticizing the investigation bureau, and concerned about the lives of people. Let us go to the next one. AAIB has to turn the spotlight on itself. Achievements, no. Should provide more media coverage, not relevant. When you say turn the spotlight on yourself, it means you have to go for introspection, self questioning. Based on that, the AAIB must introspect and ensure accountability in its reporting. Answer is C. My pleasure, Venki Bangaru. What inference can be drawn about AAIB's report? Inference. What is this inference? Based on certain facts, you come to conclusion. You infer. That's what noun form is, inference. About AAIB's report. It has been hailed. Hail means praise. In this context, no. It may be shielding the aircraft manufacturer from blame. Hold this one. It fully exonerates. Exonerate, an important word, means stop blaming someone. You should also recollect the word absolve. Exonerate, absolve, two important words. No. It suggests mechanical failure as the sole cause of the crash. No. In one sentence, the editorial says, the writer says, entire direction is focused on the cockpit conversation, and nothing has been mentioned, nothing about the aircraft, the engines, the condition of the aircraft, and the manufacturing company behind the aircraft. They haven't touched these aspects. In a way, it means what? Implied what? It may be shielding, means protecting the aircraft manufacturer from blame. Answer is B. How many of you have chosen B? Wonderful. So many. That's really appreciable. Try to spot the error. We have only a few minutes. 4 minutes we have. Easy one. I bring tough ones 4 days and fifth day easy one so that newcomers, beginners, they gain confidence. When you read a sentence like this, you don't have to go beyond the first part. What is the subject here? The Trump administration. Noun phrase, the last word is a key word. Administration, singular. Then you cannot say have. What is the right word here? Administration has decided. Has is the answer. That doesn't matter, Arvind. You should never look at which option. You should look at the answer. In the exam, imagine, for 5 questions, the answer is C. Does it mean for the 6th question, answer is C? We never focus on which option. We focus on what is option. And we focus on whether it is right or wrong. But that's good observation. The US, the tariff as a proxy of Lakshar-e-Taiba exposing Pakistan's claims as hollow. The US has done what? Delegate means assign work to a subordinate, one meaning. As a noun, international delegate, one who attends a conference. Designated, that is the answer. Design, not relevant. Reflect, deflect, not related. Answer is what? Designated a particular organization, a terrorist organization. This we got yesterday. The White House lunch for Pakistan's military chief. India's belief in US sincerity. Pakistan, Donald Trump, the US president, invited Pakistan's military chief and hosted a lunch. And based on that, India's belief in US sincerity, to what extent the US is sincere, that obviously becomes weak. It weakens that particular stand taken by the president, weakens India's belief in the US. We need a negative word. Reinforce positive, bolster positive, upheld positive. So, what is the word? Undermine. Undermines means weakens. India cannot believe the US then. Choose a word properly used. Proxy. The proxy meal was very spicy. Proxy meal we don't say. He used a proxy to climb the mountain. We don't use in this context. The diplomat voted through a proxy at the UN. This is right. She felt proxy grammatically not correct. Yes. Excuse me. Another word, avert. Avert means to prevent, to avoid, to thwart. Strong diplomacy helped avert a war. She averted, here you ought to read very carefully. Instructions also, you can't take things for granted. Here, not the correct one. Out of 4, 3 are correct, 1 is wrong. Your job is to choose a wrong one. Strong diplomacy helped avert a war. Nothing wrong. She averted her eyes from the horrific scene, means she turned her vision or view. Nothing wrong. The doctor managed to avert a medical crisis. Nothing wrong. The storm was averted by sacrificing goats. That is ridiculous. By sacrificing goats, you cannot avert a storm. Based on that, answer is incorrectly used as C. We have 5 phrasal verbs, important. Given, we have got many a time, means what? To surrender. Excuse me. Go over, to review or check something. Get across, get to communicate an idea successfully. Grow up, to mature or become older. Get along with brothers and sisters, to have a good relationship. So what is the correct order? 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. I'm sorry. 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. All are important. Do remember phrasal verbs. Brothers and sisters always fight. That is known as sibling rivalry. Coming to the words you got yesterday, undergird, not undergrid. Undergird means to strengthen something. Behest, request or command. Proxy, substitute. Avert, avoid or prevent. Leverage, one, influence or power, another meaning, to use something to the maximum advantage. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I will see you guys tomorrow.